Did you know? In 1996, two men found a human skeleton in the Columbia River in Kennewick, Washington. Named Kennewick Man, the skeleton is about 8,400 years old and may represent a member of one of the earliest migrants to the Americas.
The early 1600s sparked the beginning of colonization in the Americas. The European nations of England, Spain, and Holland established colonies, and each colony had its own unique culture, law, and way of life.
How do you learn about other cultures?
In many of the cities in America, there's so many different parts, all the Chinatowns, little Italies.
From books, from the internet.
By reading foreign newspapers.
I learned about the Japanese culture when I moved there in 3rd grade.
I learned about the Mormon culture when I went to Utah.
I talked with my friend, who's my best friend is Chinese.
Well, I have a lot of friends who are Italian, and every time I go to dinner at their house.
I'm going to pick up a foreign exchange student from Paraguay.
The Asian Culture Club and the African American Club, which I am part of.
Like other countries in Europe, England was eager to colonize the Americas during the Age of Exploration. The English colony of Jamestown was established in 1607, but it endured much hardship in its early years. In the winter of 1609, the colonists' food supply ran out, and many people died in a period known as the Starving Time. But eventually, Jamestown recovered and found a dependable source of income, growing tobacco. The colonists established the House of Burgesses as a legislature to pass laws and levy taxes. It was the first representative government in North America. The Pilgrims, who landed at Plymouth, Massachusetts, in 1620 signed the Mayflower Compact, which declared their right to govern themselves. Another group came to Massachusetts. They were the Puritans, and they had left England in search of religious freedom. The Puritans had very strict beliefs, but they could not worship as they wished in England. They established several settlements in Massachusetts. The people of these settlements governed themselves through town meetings. The Puritans of New England earned their living in a variety of ways. Most became farmers, but some made goods and tools. The shipbuilding industry provided many jobs, and trading goods across the Atlantic became very lucrative. By the 1670s, the Puritans started to lose their power in New England. Colonists grew less interested in religion and more interested in expanding their businesses. Big changes also took place in the middle colonies. In 1664, the English captured the Dutch colony of New Amsterdam and changed its name to New York. The Quakers, another religious group from England, settled in Pennsylvania. The Quakers established Philadelphia as their capital. They encouraged other European settlers to join their colony. By the early 1700s, more than 20,000 people had settled in that colony. Philadelphia and New York became the largest cities in the middle colonies. They enjoyed diverse populations and economies. Life in the South was entirely different. Growing cash crops formed the basis of the colonies of Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. Tobacco, rice, and sugar were perfect crops for the region's warm, humid climate. But growing these crops required a large number of workers. Landowners brought enslaved Africans to the Americas to work on their farms. When farmers wanted to plant crops on more land, they encountered trouble with the Native Americans. But fighting and diseases took a large toll, and the Native Americans were gradually forced to give up their land.